Okay. We are live. Okay, I'm glad I don't need to put the stream key in every time. As you can see, I fixed the resolution to where, the 8 of you that saw the original were like, it's so small, but here's fine. I'm gonna try to equalize the audio first before we get started. As every live stream needs to be done. You might hear an echo due to me playing it on my phone. I'm just testing everything out. Okay, no, we're good. We're good. Okay, now then. Hello everyone, and welcome to my first professional attempt at live streaming. Most of it's been casual. I know that my live stream attempts in the past have mostly failed. My most recent one not even being linked to my YouTube account or any account, so just live streamed to nowhere basically. But I wanted to take a fresh new start on this series, and if you want to skip ahead past my speech you can, but I shouldn't be lingering on it too much. I just want to make an intro to the series, without editing, of course, because I do want to get into editing, but I don't know where to start. I'm going to need a tutorial for that. But until I do find one, it'll have to be this for now. But yeah, today I am going to start my Final Fantasy XI tutorial series. Obviously, Square Enix themselves are not involved in any way, minus the game that's being played. And yeah. Basically, what I mean to say is Square Enix didn't tell me to do this. I'm not being sponsored by Square Enix. I'm not being paid by Square Enix. There's nothing Square Enix and me involved going on besides the subscription I have to play the game. Which I wish were a yearly subscription for the amount it costs, but I mean, $30 for every Mog wardrobe and half the roster of the character select screen is pretty good. Minus Elder Scrolls Online is a one-time pay, minus if you want ESO Plus. So I'm hoping that Square Enix turns 11 into that when they make their next MMO, because that's 3 incomes. Like Mog wardrobes, I don't mind being extra money. I mean, I do because I'm already paying for the game, but regardless. But I'm not really making a live stream to complain, sorry. I just told you I wouldn't linger on a speech, but here I am. But, yeah, as you can tell, I have already made all the characters I want, and I don't want to delete anybody, so I'm just going to do this the only way I can, through improv. I'm not going to just sit here and bore you by, chatting with you, but I will go through settings just at this beginning part, so that if your screen looks off or if you're not happy with how settings are, I will walk you through the settings first, because that is the best place to start in every playthrough. Every character you make will have to change the settings. I think you might be able to upload your settings to the cloud and then download them onto each character through the character select screen, but I haven't personally done that. I probably should, but I'm not gonna do it for this first part. So default settings are pretty jarring, to say the least. So first things first, I've learned that on every keyboard preset if you go to your numpad, if you have one, okay, even a non-numpad, if you just have like, backspace to control, and that's it, or something like that. I'm basically I'm gonna focus on my controls for now, I guess. Which hopefully everyone has a standard PC keyboard. If you don't and you're on a laptop, that's fine too. Just it should be the same key, because I know this key exists on multiple places in yeah, I'm trying to look for the other ones, but I guess they don't exist. But regardless, hooking up a controller would probably be the best option for menus and walking, but the keyboard would still be good for chat, say if you press spacebar. So, yeah. Or I guess enter. No, enter does not work. I swear I've played this game on and off for 10 years. So it's going to be the minus symbol to open your menu. And it will bring you to this menu here. It's probably going to start on status or map for most of you. They're not in a mog house. But, yeah. Yeah, let's say open the menu. But to get to settings, you either need to press right on the arrow keys, left on the arrow keys, or just press minus sign again. Either way it works. Doesn't matter which button you use, it will take you to the opposite screen. There's only 2 menus. I know my menu might be a little small, but I can't really adjust that right now. I probably should have adjusted that before starting the live stream. But, not wanting to leak my login information, I'm just going to keep it as is until part 2. I'm going to fix it before I do part 2. Hopefully tomorrow. Probably not going to be tomorrow. It's probably going to be close to like next week or something. But yeah, as you can see, we have config right there. And obviously you'll have that red question mark next to your name if you're starting off. And if you're starting off on the free trial, you will have the arrow that's half green and half yellow. It could be an arrow, it could be a book. It's kind of hard to tell because it's just pixels drawn into a shape. But some people think it's an arrow, other people think it's a book, some people might think it's something else entirely, but regardless, it's half green, half yellow for free trial users, and a red question mark for non-free trial users, aka if you've purchased the full game. Oh yeah, this will not be a tutorial on how to set up your Play Online account. I might do something like that in the future where I start a completely new account, walk you through the steps when I have actual money to buy a second copy of the game for no reason on a device that I don't care about playing Final Fantasy XI on, say if I get a laptop or maybe this PC at some point. When I get a new PC, I'm just gonna like wipe this one minus pictures and yeah, probably just pictures. But yeah, probably gonna save my pictures in a flash drive and then wipe this thing, and that's when I'm gonna do the Play Online tutorial, because then it'll be connected to an account that I basically don't care what happens to, because it's not gonna be my account. Regardless, that's gonna be for later date. Today we're gonna be on the config, so just press enter to enter the config. It'll start you on gameplay. That's where we're going to want to start. And you just press enter again, or X button if you're on PlayStation, A if you're on Xbox, and A if you're on somehow on a Nintendo Switch controller of some kind. But yeah, it'll start you on controls, auto targeting during battle, automatically lock onto the target at the start of battle. You want this on because you can disable lock on through pressing the crouch button, whatever that is for you, whether it's, I think it's R3 for lock on for controller, maybe it's L3. But for keyboard, it's going to be your little star next to the minus symbol on the numpad. I don't know what the lock-on is for people that don't have the numpad, so I guess just play around with your buttons when you do enter a battle, or I guess a good way to check would just be to target something with enter or F1 tab, function 1 tab, whatever. And then you can just press your lock-on button, or press every button besides enter and escape to see what your lock-on button is. But regardless, back to the settings. So we have auto target ring battle on. Sound effects, music, doesn't matter, it's your preference. Gamma adjustment. Now this is actually cool, and I've never seen another game do this before. Usually it's on your TV, but this actually complements your TV because you can change it on here, then change it on your TV to get like a perfect blend of something. Regardless, creativity aside, you can increase the different computer gamma, whatever these are called. But regardless, you know, the red, green, blue. So you can turn the brightness all the way up. And yes, as you can see, the environment changes color as well. So you can literally have the game be whatever color you want it to primarily be. So you've got your full brightness. Default should be like in the center. And then you've got the darker colors. Obviously all the way to black. You literally have access to every color on the computer color wheel. It gets to the point where the only thing lighting you up is light sources. Keep in mind, when you target something, it'll start flashing, which is the minimum on maximum brightness. It's the most on minimum brightness. But yeah, I wish they'd remove that feature at some point. We don't really need it. It's not like we need glasses to see what's right in front of us, and even if we do, we can still see. So it's not even about glasses, it's about like our eyes being relatively okay to see. That's why we're able to be on the TV or computer monitor to begin with. And if we couldn't see, we're not going to be on technology. Regardless, doesn't matter. I just wish they would remove that blinking feature, which I'm not going to recommend WindowWare because, or you know, any of the third-party stuff, because it violates the terms and service when you purchase the game. So just don't use any third-party technologies if you don't want to get your account banned by ScreenX someday if they do end up becoming more strict about it. Right now, as of 2025 and before, they weren't super strict on it, so like GMs will just not bat an eye, but as long as you use it solely for client-side stuff, you should be fine. Like texture packs, style or dress up or some stuff like that. But regardless, like as long as it's client-side, it should be fine. But if you start changing any code in the actual game, you will be banned. So just keep that in mind. But also, I don't condone it because it goes against terms of service, like I said. So if you hear anyone tell you to get on WindowWare, just make the decision yourself. Don't let them convince you through, you know, oh, we're friends, you can trust me, right? Because a lot of things have gone wrong that way in many different people's life stories. So just make sure you are the one that wants to try out WindowWare. And if you do try out WindowWare, keep in mind, if you enable too many things, it could break the game, and you could crash every login. But the good thing about WindowWare is, you know, there's a little window that pops up beforehand where you can edit everything before logging into Play Online, and that's when you log into ScreenX. My dad uses WindowWare, because apparently the game is too bland for him, I guess. I don't know. But he's kind of coded his Puppet Master so that he can just lazily press a macro button to change all his puppets' equipment. Kind of petty if you ask me. I'd rather go in and like micro tweak everything to make sure that I have exactly what I want for what I'm doing, and not just leave it up to a preset and then that preset, you know, doesn't do the job, and then I'm screwed because that was what I thought was my best preset. Regardless, window stuff aside, you're here for the configuration. I know, I'm sorry. Regardless, inventory sort. This is important to enable because it automatically stacks your items. So if you have multiple rabbit hides, for instance, they will all go into one pile that goes up to either 12 or 99. Some items do not stack. Yeah, if they do stack, I think you'll see like a little 1 or 2. I don't know if the 1 is there or not until there's 2 of them. Regardless, potions and ethers and stuff don't stack in this game, unfortunately. They do in basically every Final Fantasy that is just basically a console game, aka single player experience. But they don't stack here for some reason. I don't know why they don't, but they don't. And then next we have your inventory sort type, which type 1 is the best. Type 2 doesn't really work. I don't know why. Or if it does work, then it just doesn't work for me. I don't know why. Regardless, type 1 is default. Type 1 is probably the best one anyway. Sorts all your weapons together, sorts all your helmets and whatnot together. All your consumables are up top and, you know, whatnot. And then chat filters, this is basically... So the off means if you press enter, it will turn it off. The on means if you press enter, it will turn it on. So, the only reason I have any of these turned off is because I'm live streaming. I don't want any outside anything to be like interfering with my revenue from YouTube, because, you know, I don't want somebody saying something or using a phrase that YouTube doesn't like. So, not to mention, people are just, you know, they don't really need to be in my stream without their permission, unless it's like their player character's name out there somewhere. But that's about the most I'm going to interact with people while I'm live streaming, unless it's like, you know, a planned event that a party and me are going to go to. But this is not that. But yeah, make sure the tell has the little music note. I think that should do. So if I /tell Artewin, it's just a meme version. Hi. There's no sound effect, but if I go into here, and I try it again, there we go. So if you want tells to have a little sound effect, make sure it says off with a little note next to it. Not holds with a little note next to it, because if we try that... Oh, it still works. Okay. Then I guess I can't really disable tells, huh? Okay. Alright, so I guess chat filters is... I don't know. But certain ones you just can't turn off, I guess. So I guess your party, your link show, whatnot. Actually, let me /p. P hi. No party member. Okay, still works. Chat filters is types of text to be filtered from the log window. So again, you're not gonna see any shouts or assist channel people or whatnot. I guess emotes could stay on. So I guess if hold is displayed there, it should be fine as well, I guess. As long as on was selected. But font colors, this is where you can change your text color for anything. Again, there's hardly any other game out there that does this, and the ones that do usually involve mods, which are third party, but Final Fantasy 11 did not need to do that. There are a couple MMOs out there I know that are like super cheap MMOs that are built for being a cash grab, I guess. Or, you know, at least they weren't structured as well as 11 was. And 11's 2002, so y'all have no excuse. I'm joking. But yeah, you got your effects. You can change the color on those. You can change color on for others as well. Your system. And then you can reset it all to default if you want, which, if you want to do that, sure, go for it. And then we have Windows, Shared. Now, first things first, window effect needs to be off. I cannot tell you how much time this saves by turning window effect off. If you need to select a spell or a job ability quickly, I think this even applies to macros, I don't remember. Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. But yeah, I just have it off for the utmost speed. There's some people that play with it on and still do fine, but I'm not one of those people. I prefer to be able to see what I'm selecting, you know. But multi-window, this is down to personal preference. The best is probably vertical, so that you can have your party chat above your battle chat, and vice versa if you want. Solely so you can see if somebody's saying something in your chat, while also not having the battle chat interfere with your party chat. So you know, if somebody has a call out like run or something, or you know, they throw out a skill chain or weapon skill, then you can respond to it. Or if they just say BRB after this monster or something. Regardless, it's good to have it multi-window on vertical. Timestamps don't matter. If you want to keep track of time when people say stuff, you can. If you just want the basic, you know, when did they send it, your hour, minute will be fine. This is hour, minute, second, so you can see the exact second they do it. You don't really need to. Guess I should have it on default, huh? Window type doesn't matter, it's purely just for your viewing pleasure. And then, you know, window effects. So this is how big your windows are. So I think for a 4K display, 8, or, you know, between 10 and 4 is recommended. 4 is tiny though, so keep that in mind. And then window width, you can kind of just move it there to leave some room for your pet's HP, I guess. Or, you know, fellow adventurer, your summons, basically. And resize time. Okay, so resize time maximum is, it takes forever. Honestly, I feel like resize time being this is fine, because it gets it out of the way faster. On window 2, you can do the same thing. Resize time minimum, window width, adjust that over. So as you can tell, I have window 1 as your system window, and then window 2 is your party or your chat window, basically. So you don't even have to go over to these windows over here. Yeah, that's 20 lines of text. That's about as big as it gets. It's even like little menus you can go to and whatnot. Regardless, yeah, your display definitely your display size definitely changes what exactly is, what it all looks like. Your settings might make it super huge, while my settings might make it look a lot smaller than default. It's all down to your resolution of the game. And then the log, this is basically, where you want it to appear. Your chat, your effects, and your system. So basically, if I wanted to swap it, I'd turn all these off, turn all these on. I think I still have them on for all of them. And then window 2, you just swap that. I guess system's good for both, I guess. Only because if you, again, system, it's all down to preference, to be honest. But yeah, and you can reset it to default if you want. Then we got our miscellaneous. So damage display, it's going to be on log on default. So basically this won't display any numbers on the screen, so make your brain release dopamine when you see 10,000 when you eventually get to that strength. But I keep it on both because this, now the reason it's on log as default, no idea, but I know in the old days you would want it on the screen or both, never just in the log, because you want to see the damage you're doing. And if you need to keep an eye for party chat, that's when you would lock it to the screen only. But nowadays you can just do both, because you get your chat window and your battle window, and that's all you need. Character information, all this means is that if you hide it, you just hide your character data from friends list searches. You don't need to have that hidden. Just keep it shown. This isn't some Call of Duty lobby where everyone's talking trash to each other. Like, it's usually friendly, or you get ignored. There's no toxicity. Then shadows will start on normal. As you can see, all NPCs, like this Moogle here, have a little circle underneath them, but then when I turn it to high, it enables their shadows to be not just a circle. Or off just makes it look off. Because there are no shadows, but there's shadows still on the models, so it's just a little weird. That's mainly because Final Fantasy XI uses texture shading, I think, or like a very early version of shading, where it doesn't take too much RAM to run the character shadows, but the floor shadows are done differently. Weather effects, I just keep this on mainly because the skies in this game are beautiful. If you turn this off, it'll disable the sky. It'll just be one color, and there will be no clouds, no nothing. This is mainly for if your computer struggles whenever it's raining or windy or whatnot. You can turn it off if need be. But as long as you have a halfway decent PC like I do, you should be alright. If your PC can't handle this game, your PC is garbage and you need a new one. Because you'll see my frame rate drop while I'm streaming, but when I'm not streaming, it doesn't drop unless there's like 50 characters on the screen. Speaking of characters on the screen, character models displayed. So this basically makes it to where you can limit the number of any kind of player character, non-player character, whatever displayed. So basically what this will do if you put it on minimum, that's like maybe 10 characters on screen at maximum, and any character that goes beyond that is going to be invisible. My only problem with this is it hides their name tags as well. Not always, but if they're far enough away, yeah, or if they're obscured behind an object. So, like, an example of this would be in the shadow areas. The new players won't have a single idea what I'm talking about. Maybe some of the returning players won't, and then obviously the veterans will know what I'm talking about. But domain invasion, if your character model's displayed as low, it's basically just not going to show you the dragon, and you have to just pray to God your targeting system works. Because if you can't select that dragon before he goes down in certain servers, you're just not going to hit him. It's not like Elder Scrolls where you can just throw down a giant AoE and hit everything and get credit for it. Because this game basically uses the targeting system for their battles. Which, I actually do like this battle system better than 14's. Just because 14's just feels like that cliche MMO, and I've played too many of those before 14, and I was just like, yeah, everyone's kind of done this already, this is boring for me. But yeah, icon type, it's on type 2 on default. Honestly, type 2 is fine. Type 1 is a lot more simplified, and honestly, I used to see I think either my mom or my dad play on type 1. It doesn't matter. If you set an icon type and you get used to it, you're gonna see the other one as weird. I've just played with type 2 almost my entire playthrough because it's default, and I never changed it when I was younger, so I'm paying the price for that now. Not that it's bad, it's just, you know, I can't see type 1 quite as clearly as a new player. Because my brain will just be like looking for the type 2 symbols, and it's just won't show up. And then PC armor display. Now this, I was confused at first whenever I first saw this and disabled it, or yeah, made it static. But basically what this does is this makes it to where other player characters just have the default equipment on. This is to basically save memory for your PC and whatnot. So just keep it on normal unless your PC is having issues, then turn it static to where, yeah, everyone's wearing the default gear. I guess this will also make it to where they're not blinking in and out when they're changing gear. You'll see a lot of veteran players not have style lock on for some reason. But basically, if they enable style lock, that basically keeps them from blinking, and those of them that are actually worried about their equipment sets being leaked, it'll also hide your equipment sets too, but I ain't worried about that. I just use style lock because it's cool, and it keeps me from blinking in and out of existence to keep people from targeting me. But if I want to be healed, I'm gonna want someone to target me with a cure. If they can't target me with a cure, I'm as good as dead. So just keep PC armor display normal unless somebody's like aggressively blinking or your PC is just dying. Then you can turn it static and just have them wear what they were wearing whenever you pressed enter. And if they didn't load into the area yet, that's when they'll just show as default. So basically, if you change zones, as we say here in Final Fantasy 11, which basically you just go through a loading screen, basically. Then everyone will be default but you. And then MISC 2. The clipping pane, just keep this at max distance. Even when I'm struggling, turning this down to minimum doesn't help at all. So the clipping pane, I think, was mainly to help the PS2 or like PCs of the early 2000s. At this point in 2025, even some of the bare minimum PCs, this setting just doesn't matter. The difference is so tiny nowadays. Just keep it on maximum. Then footsteps effects, exact same thing. The difference is so minimal, it hardly even matters, so just keep it on. Animation frame rate, Unless you want your game to look like it's a potato running it, you just keep it maximum for the full 60 FPS. I guess technically it's 30, but with a smooth movement TV, it just clears it right up to 60. And then keyboard size, as you can tell, mine is compact too. If you basically want to follow my controls, you can set it to compact too as well. I've rarely touched the other two, so that's why this one tells you what the controls are, and I think this one is for laptops. So lock on is H. Okay, lock on is H for you laptop users. It's the same button as your healing button, which is your crouch button basically. It's not for stealth, it's for healing. That's why it's called heal. Yeah. Background aspect ratio. Now, for all of you, it'll start here. Why this is default anymore, I don't know. They have never changed it. But, yeah. If you want to play wide mode, there you go. I think 5-4 is even, not 4 to 3 ratio is even bigger, I think. No, 5.4 or 5-4 ratios, slightly bigger. Maybe not. It's very hard to lock onto one thing when everything's moving around. But regardless, you'll want it at 16:9 because that's basically where all the standard monitors resolutions are and whatnot. Same with TVs. You rarely see the 4:3 ratio TVs anymore. And again, this was built for early 2000s, so that's why 4:3 ratio was default. And if you're using WindowWare, it'll probably automatically adjust this anyway, so if these aren't changing for you, that's why.
Hello.
Hi, I'm live streaming my tutorial episodes.
Well, hello.
I
I just got back from karaoke night.
hope you had fun.
I had a blast.
But yeah, here's where you can change your key assignment, or I guess check it. You don't really need to change anything though. Yeah, I know there's a lot of pros out there that just keep it on default like me. And there's a lot of people out there, they don't need to be pros because, I mean, everyone might not know what all the controls are, but this is where all the controls are listed right here. And obviously you can change them, like I just said. So macro palette size. So this is basically just going to change the size of when you hold Control or L2 and Alt, which is R2 or right trigger and left trigger for Xbox users. So if you turn this to compact, it just makes it smaller. This is for laptops or smaller displays. Mine is 4K. I don't need to change it to compact. And then macro palette position, dynamic or static. Static just puts it right there and leaves it. This is because there's a little HP MP TP bar in the top left whenever you're in combat. There's also an HP MP bar in the bottom right. So you don't really need to worry about it being static. I just keep mine dynamic, but honestly, static's probably better, especially if your mouse interferes with your menus somehow, like mine does. And then MISC 3 weapon effect, again, so small you don't even need to disable it. Style lock, now yours will be on normal at default. Static will save your current equipment. And I'll show you how you can style lock a little bit later here. And an area display displays a graphic detailing the areas of effect where displaying the subtarget of abilities and spells. Basically, this is for if you're using a G spell or J spell, or circle blade or any kind of area of effects, anything. it'll show a little blue circle around you, or your target. Yellow means you're just barely within range, and then red means you're just out of range. Regardless, in the area display, if your target's name gets bigger, that means they're being affected by it. And then target expressions, so the visual effect on targets affected by the target, subtarget, and area of effect cursors. Basically, I think this enables the whole name tag thing getting bigger, so if you don't want that, I guess turn it off, but I just have it on anyway, because it's just more convenient to see who's actually in effect. And then display party member status icons. So I have this on. You're going to want this on if you're going to play support at all, or if you just want to see if somebody has their EXP ring up or not. Basically, if you're curious on what stats they have, enable this. And I'll show you how you can look at their stats here in a second. So you just target your target, and it'll be down here somewhere. Now, the only reason it's not there for me is because I'm targeting myself. This also doesn't work for Trust Magic. They overlooked a lot when it came to Trust Magic. Timer displays icon or status icon timers. Now, this is fairly recent, within the past. Actually, it's actually been more than 5 years. That's actually. Good night. Rest well. And I love you. But this is basically, this was never a feature when I first started playing. So I basically just had to wait for it to start blinking to know it was about to wear off. But now they actually show how long it lasts. People in Windower, before this change was made, I should say, tried to make a timer of their own, but it bled through the menus. So like, if you were trying to look at your equipment, you kind of couldn't see through the bleeding numbers because the people behind Windower are just people trying to make the best out of the game, basically, through quality of life changes that need to have already been added, or maybe some that shouldn't be, but, you know, are there. But yeah. And then furniture camera collision. This is just for your mog house. If you ever put furniture in there, if you want to take a picture of your character behind a desk, there you go. If you want claustrophobia mode to be enabled, just turn it on. But there is also a first person mode, so if you don't want your character in the shot, just press 5 on the numpad for my controls, and 5 again to disable it. And if we go back to MISC 2, for you laptop users, it is V, right next to B and C, obviously. And the reason I make that, you know, V and B is because a lot of microphones I've used in the past have it to where that sounds exactly the same. But yeah, software keyboard, this is mainly for if you want to go full controller and you don't have a keyboard or don't want to use one because you think you're a Giga Chad, then just have it on full, otherwise off. Term filter, hide certain chat messages that contain terms designated to your filter settings. Pressing this button will reflect your edits. So basically, if there's a word in your lists, I don't know. I don't know the specifics about this because I've never used term filter. Because people mainly censor themselves in this game, but a lot of people won't censor the R word that used to be used in a lot of fireman suits descriptions. I'm sure you already know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I despise that word, and people still use it like it's not a slur for people like me who are autistic, which they start trying to use autistic as a slur, and I'm just like, no, it's not a slur, it's literally what I am. And autistic doesn't mean I'm stupid either, it just means my brain is rewired differently. are wired differently, period. Alright, so FX, just make sure it all says off. That means it's all going to be on. Again, you don't really need to disable anything unless you're being overwhelmed, or if your PC is being overwhelmed. Regardless, you don't need to disable it. Mouse and camera. This is the most important thing of the stream, probably, besides actual gameplay. And that is your third-person camera. Now, it starts with airplane controls. Why? I have no idea. But if you invert it, it goes back to normal. aka normal being up is up, down is down, left is left, right is right. First-person camera, however, normal is up, down is down, left is left, right is right. So I don't know what what went wrong here, but yeah, there's your settings. But yeah, mouse control type 1, so you can basically move your camera, target thing, which I can't do in the menu. Type 2, I don't. Use your character as a point of reference for movement, or use your cursor. I think with the mouse you are able to move, I just forget how. I don't use the mouse to move anyway. It is atrocious. I don't even use it for the camera. I use the arrow keys for the camera. The camera will rotate when the mouse pointer is moved to the edge of the screen, on or off. I guess it doesn't matter. Change anything. Camera view, normal, allow unrestricted movement of the third-person camera. Locks the third-person camera behind your character. I just have it on normal because, yeah, if you ever want to like check out what other people see your outfit to be, or regardless, doesn't even matter. Normal is fine. You can look behind you. Chase camera is atrocious. It's just locked on your back, and you gotta like turn your character basically. Basically, this is what you would see. That's Q and E if you want to do that little spin. Some people would do it to be funny. And then we have global. Yeah, filter out words that could be interpreted as offensive, and then your default will be 10 minutes. You can make it 60 minutes to save your computer, lifespan or whatever. I have it off because there is a thing in this game called the Bazaar, and basically allows other players to visit your player character. Now, obviously, it doesn't work in the Mog House unless you are in a party and actually invite them to your Mog House. But the easiest way to do it is just go out to Port Juno or something like that, and stand right out, or stand in that little square outside the Mog House, right next to the crystal, and then just leave your character there and sell things. I haven't done it in a while, but I still keep it off just because, in case I ever do it. And then this is just your gamepad settings. I'll go through this in my Play Online, but regardless, it's just exactly like the MISC 2 or 3 or whatever it was that had the keyboard controls. This is just going to be for your controller. Some controllers are compatible with X input, others are not. I learned the PS5 controller is not compatible with X input, so make sure that's disabled if you're using a PS5 controller, just because, yeah, otherwise it won't work. I've also noticed, for some reason, this might be my PC's Bluetooth being weak, but sometimes your controller will just not respond like it should. At certain moments, at random almost, and a lot of the times it is basically based on, is there anything in between you and your PC, or your controller and your PC? The Bluetooth on my PC is weak. But yeah, that's all of the settings. And page up is for zooming in, and page down is for zooming out. That's basically all you need to know. Or it's 9 and 3 on the numpad, but they have page up and down on there too. And again, if you're ever confused on what controls you need to use, if you're on a laptop, just go over to MISC 2 and go look at Compact 1, and those should be your controls. So I'm not sure you have a. Oh, okay. It's comma and period for you. Yeah, enter or X, and then for targeting for controllers is the arrow keys or button or D-pad, whatever. And another way you can chat is just F1, enter, right, and then you can select any of these. You don't need to just know the commands like I do. Yeah, this Moogle right here is important for login points. Basically, he's got a lot available to purchase, basically just for participating and logging into the game. Yeah, there's a lot of things you can get from him, a lot of which, if you combine them, create something better. Yeah, this is what I've got on right now. I've got the +1 variant, which I'll show you here in a minute. Yeah, all these are different mounts that when you get your Chocobo license, you can do a short quest to unlock mounts, which is modern Chocobos, basically. And by that I mean modern Chocobos, as in it works just like Chocobos used to, but you can ride basically anything you want and summon it from a menu rather than using a Chocobo whistle. I wonder if this is +1able. Although probably not, because it's Rare EX. Yeah, there will also be Trust Magic available here. So if you see anyone you like, or know of anyone mentioning that a character is busted, you can get them. And then these three are important for a quest much later down the line that we'll get back to. And then the festive Moogle here, if you ever get like a Mogpel of any kind. Alright, let me take you a step by step. So you open the menu, you go down to trade, yep. Make sure you're targeted on your target, or it'll just have a blue arrow, and then you can select your target. Then you press enter to select what slot, and then there you go. I have a red Mogpel, of which I'm going to give him. So this should be our early... Oh, okay, this is our Outland stuff. So I'm just gonna grab my Meladopt wing. Or my 6 Meladopt wings. Due to the gear that it gives is really good for before reforging your artifact and whatnot. Which, again, we'll get into that later. I was gonna show you guys something, I forgot what it was. Oh well, I'll probably remember it later. It's something to do with the settings. Oh, style lock! Yeah. So I'll do that while I'm running around. So macros, edit, equip, set. You can basically go left to go to the latest most page. And then you can basically just select any piece of equipment you like, and then press enter. Here you can change the name as well. And then if you hit style lock there, it'll change your appearance. And no matter if you change your gear, it'll stay the same. There is music in the game, I just have it turned off. Because I was going to play other music, but I guess I could just make this a relaxing stream, I guess. The music might be overwhelming at some point. I know I'm walking instead of teleporting with the crystals, but I gotta get to the entrance. which I probably should use a crystal. So I've got a bunch of things I want to combine. You'll have access to Mog Wardrobes 1 and 2, so you put your weapons and shields and ranged whatnots in here, and then your armor in here, and your accessories in this one as well. Or vice versa, it doesn't matter. But I have access to all 8, so that basically means I can put it wherever I want. All 8 is nice, problem is it jacks up the price on your monthly subscription. Like, normally I'd just be paying like maybe $18 a month, but with the Mog Wardrobes, I think it adds like $2 per wardrobe or something like that. Yeah, it gets pretty expensive. I don't like it. This game was $12 a month for 1 character. It's $13 for 2 characters. Basically, each character adds 1, and honestly, a character is more valuable than a Mog Wardrobe. Kind of. Let me just turn up that brightness. These shadows are a little weird. Sorry, I pressed the wrong button. I guess I could turn the music on. I know I'm walking still, but damn it, I can't help it. Also, I kind of want to pass the synergy peeps over here. Basically, when you get like 100 gil or something like that, you can buy a, I guess I already bought it, but you can basically request a synergy crucible or something like that. But after you buy it, you walk up to this, you interact with it to claim it, and then you trade what you want to combine. So basically, if you have 2 of these, you can turn them into an Excalibur 2, as you can see right there. Knights of the Rotund is actually kind of busted because it is a tier 3 skill chain attribute, weapon skill, at level 1. So basically, if you're fighting a NM and you're actually able to hit it with this thing and build TP, you can skill chain it with somebody else using the same weapon skill, because it's a tier 3, it can skill chain off itself, and then have like a black mage or red mage or scholar magic bursts off of that, where they cast either lightning, wind, or fire. Sorry, it took too long. So let me hurry this along, shall I? So you commence synergy, you interact with it once it's gone down, you feed the foul owl of whatever it wants down here. So that's light and dark. And now it's done in synergy. And now since I have another thing to combine. I'm just going to do the same thing with it. Radius is actually a really busted level 1 shield because it gives you a lot of magic defense. And we're done with that anyway. Oh yeah, so to sort items, you just press plus and then auto up, yes. Yeah, your base inventory will automatically be sorted due to what we enabled, but your inventory won't be because there is also a manual option. Yeah, magic defense bonus plus 3, I think, is 300. Basically what it translates to, so it's kind of busted. It's actually better than some shields at level 99 with the magic defense bonus. So if you're up against something pretty gnarly in the magic department, you might need to slap on this thing. But hopefully by that time, you've gotten a better shield. Which, obviously the base defense is lacking, you know, physical defense, but say if you feel like the goblin black mages are putting in a little too much work, you can just slap this thing on. Obviously, you can only get this through the login points. So if you do see it in the login points, definitely get it. You get 2 of them and then combine them in the synergy like I just showed you how to do just then. Also, every one of these crystals you see, you'll want to interact with for your first time. So once you register a new home point, you can teleport to it through any other home point. And how to do that is just you interact with it, travel to another home point, and then you can do, you know, this is the only reason I have, so Bastock, and any of the other crystals I've got here, I can go to. And you can also set your respawn point at these crystals too. You set this as your home point, and then boom, there you go. Which I'm not gonna do because I just want to show you guys how to. I usually put mine in like Mara or near a Mog House so that I can quickly change jobs or turn in my merits and job points. Or I put it near one of the black books to be able to teleport through them because they have more teleport locations than the crystals. Well, they don't have more locations, but they do have different locations that the crystals don't have. Yeah, so first things first, go to your quest log. So you just open the menu, go to the right, quests. Now you go down to objective list under the records of eminence section, select objective list, tutorial. For you guys, all you'll see is tutorial and other, if you haven't done this already. Hit tutorial, basics, enable first step forward, and then talk to this guy right in front of me, Izakoth. For Windurst, it'll be Felum. Felum Jobizat in Windurst Woods J10, which is right next to Solele. Basically, right next to an exit. The Eternal Flame in Western Alderlin is near the Mog House, which you're not going to be in Alderlin at this time. Rondolin in Southern Sandoria, again, next to an exit where a crystal is and a gate guard for doing missions. Yeah, and then this guy at Eat 11, right next to an exit, which is over here, and then next to a crystal. Yeah, this guy is going to be able, he's going to enable you to purchase gear, just to get you started, for any level, really. Doing quests for gear is probably going to be better anyway, but this is a good start, and honestly, you can get to 99 on this gear. Basically, you talk to yeah, equipment for level 1 through 9, 10 through 19, 20, as you can tell. And the reason it's 51 through 70 is because that's when it wants you to get your artifact gear. Because there's no armor in there. And then 71 through 98 is when they want you to get your relic gear. And then 99 has a bunch of overpowered, semi-powered equipment. It's 117, not 119. 119 is vastly superior by a landslide. And then SU5 gear is a bigger landslide. Yeah, if you ever get any copper A-Man vouchers, you can trade them to him, exchange A-Man currencies, and then you can get yourself 1,000 of anything listed here. And then I guess... Oh, okay, that's where you can purchase that. Alright, cool. But I don't need anything from him. And then you come over to Goldago, you talk to him. In Windurst, it'll be Salele, and in Sandoria, it'll be a red-haired elven to the left, if you're facing the gate. So these guys will be your original Final Fantasy XI tutorial. They'll teach you how to get Signet and whatnot, which I can basically help you do. But yeah, you come over here to Rabid Wolf, or you know, any gate guard that has like the 2 abbreviated initials. You know, TK for Sandoria, WW for Windurst, and IM for Bastock. You just select the first option, and he'll give you Signet. And you come back and talk to him. He does give you some pretty good rewards, so I'm probably gonna do it anyway. Yeah, if you're going through this already, you don't need to read what I'm doing here, but if you are curious, then I guess pause to read. Just like this is a breeze to continue. Alright, and one thing I actually forgot is go into quests, objective list, go down to Vaniversary, select the first one, go down to Signet BRB, weekly, that's what the W stands for, is weekly. You just set the objective, you can talk to him, select first option, do it again, and... Okay, I don't know why I didn't show that it was done, but it's no longer there. So we go back to the objective list of Anniversary 1. It's grayed out, meaning I did it. Well, it's not grayed out, meaning I did it, but the circle is smaller. Because sometimes it'll gray out because you can't accept anymore. Yeah, okay. Chat filters. Does it say? I don't know. Oh, there we go. For some reason, system needs... no. No. I don't know. Okay, so we're just gonna have that be window 1. Yeah, I don't know why it's inverted for this, but whatever. Everything else is working. Yeah, as you can see at the bottom there, it says, "You've completed the following Records of Eminence objective, signet.er, It gives you 1,000 XP and 150 Sparks of Eminence, which you can use to buy more gear. So next thing's next. We eat the jerky. So you target yourself with F1 or up on the D-pad for controller. You press Enter or X to open this menu. You go down to items, and then you select the meat jerky. Yeah, see this blue arrow. This blue arrow will be everywhere for, it's basically asking you which target you want to select, which for this one, you can only select yourself. Because if you try to use tab or the other arrow keys, it just doesn't do anything. So you just press enter. For things like cure, however, if there's a eligible target within range, it is able to target them. Just keep in mind, the game will basically tell you whether or not that thing can target something else. Through either, you trying to press tab and it doesn't go anywhere, or, yeah, regardless. I really want to talk to you. Alright, get all that? So basically, he's telling us to go out to town and beat something up. After checking it. But first, we go to quests, objective list, tutorial, basics. Undertake a FOV training regime. So basically what this means is a Fields of Valor training regime. Any white book that is in any hostile-esque area, you can basically... I'll get into it later. And then heal without using magic. Set that. Set vanquish one enemy. Set... Well, you don't need to set this yet, but set it now just in case you don't later. And then, I guess, assist channel. I'll get into the assist channel one here at some point. And then you're gonna want combat wide area, general, enable this, enable this, enable this, and enable these, and this. The rest of them we'll get to it later. Level sync to vanquish enemies. If you are in a party and are level 10 at the bare minimum, you can participate in level sync where everyone gets synchronized down to somebody's level. The party leader has to decide who. But these two missions right here are useless outside of that, so that's why we don't select them. And then you can do combat spoils, just select all the crystals. If any crystal goes into the loot table of your party, or, it doesn't matter, as long as it shows up in the loot table, it'll count. Doesn't need to go to you to count. The geodes are less common, and then the ites are less common, or the elemental, or the godites, as I'll call it. And then you can select these if you notice something dropping off a certain type of enemy. You can select one of these, but you don't need to. It will take up a lot of space in your quest log. Unfortunately, there's a maximum of only 30 and not 50, but whatever. Then, once you step outside, you can go to any of these original areas. And for us in Bastock, it'll be Conflict South Gustaberg. Make sure that's set. Yeah, they've got something for every area. Oh, you can switch tabs by going right and left. Same as you did for this menu here. But, you know, you can go down to it yourself as well. Yeah, they've got one for every expansion, so just keep that in mind. There's fishing, crafting, harvesting. We don't need to worry about those. Content, other. There's a lot of stuff here too. But yeah, you need treasure chests or coffers using keys. Yeah, you can set this basically. Because in the dungeons you might get a key, and then if you see like a chest or a coffer, you can trade that key to that chest or coffer and it'll give you something. Now for your artifact missions, you will need that key, or coffer key, and then you'll need to go into a corresponding dungeon and find that coffer in that dungeon. That is also something we'll get into later. You don't need to worry about that right now though. Yeah, you don't need to worry about anything else for there. Job levels. You can select whichever of your job that you want to get to level 30. And then once you hit 30, you can just go right, left, and then go down to 50. And then once that's done, right, left, the 75. You're just doing the right, left thing to refresh it if it's not already refreshed. And then 99 is the last one. So there's 4 level milestones each. The reason this one's level 30 and not level 25 is because at level 30 is whenever whenever penalties to dying start taking effect. And the only penalty that is, besides obviously wiping all food buffs and whatnot when you die, the only thing that doesn't get wiped are EXP bonuses and Signet. But you start losing EXP when you die at level 30 and higher. 50 is just right in the middle. 75 is in the middle of 50 and 99, which is honestly supposed to be 100, but not, because 99 is just iconic, I guess. And then 99 because it's technically max level until you get to master your job after collecting all the job points, and then that's when you unlock master levels, which will then finally increase your level. But for the objective, there is nothing past 99. And you can honestly just browse all the jobs here. If anything sounds good. Honestly, it looks like they could add 2 more, if I'm being honest. What they could add is up to them, because they're the ones that have to worry about the balancing. You don't need to worry about fame right now. Yeah, I got Vaniversary here. You can just click on them to see what it is they are about. Yeah, this teaches you that curing a skeleton can harm it, because you're curing the curse that's on the corpse, because the curse is what's attacking you, not the skeleton itself. Yeah, a lot of these are pretty simple. The main one we're going to be worried about is Gastro Revolution. Yeah, we're just going to be looking for one that has meat jerky. I don't remember if there is one, though. So, we can actually enable this, because if you get a crystal, I can show you how you can complete this later. And it's not, the telepoints are not what these blue crystals in town are called. These blue crystals in town are just called crystals. They're not telepoints. Telepoints are a little different, and I will show you whenever we get to one of them. And that's when we'll trade our crystal to it. Yeah, you don't need to worry about no time to be sheepish until like level 30 or something. Which I guess we can enable since we have space for it. Alright, this one you want to enable. This one is just the same as heal without using magic in the tutorial. Sushi roast mushroom. Now, you can enable this if you want, because if you are with other players, you can perform distortion skill chains on the beetle monsters if you have the correct ability here. I am going to actually open up a skill chain chart for you. You will see ads. I'm sorry. I know, the bit rate is not quite what I want it to be, but oh well. Alright, so we're just gonna search up skill chain. So this is our chart. So we're looking for distortion, which is right here. So transfixion and scission. Now this one's actually easy. You just need somebody with a spear and somebody with a sword, and get that up to level 5. You can also do this with the Trust Magic Excalame, because he has a spear or a lance. And as long as you have like a sword or a dagger, as long as your skill chain attribute says Scission, do yours second. And same with if yours says Transfixion, do yours first. And you want to coordinate who's throwing what first in party chat. And then, see, this is what happens if you go in reverse. Nothing. But you want to do distortion. And then if something has gravitation, you can mix that with distortion to make darkness. So if you see it do distortion, you just do gravitation, and yeah. Same with vice versa. If something does gravitation, you can do distortion to make darkness, which darkness is a tier 3 skill chain, or level 3 skill chain. Gravitation and fusion and gravitation, I should say, makes gravitation. Gravitation and fragmentation makes fragmentation. And then, yeah, fusion and gravitation is gravitation. Distortion, gravitation is darkness. Fragmentation and distortion makes distortion. You can, these ones are still the level 2 ones, you know, distortion, gravitation, yeah, fusion, fragmentation. Yeah, liquefaction and impaction make fusion. Detonation and compression make gravitation. And the order I'm saying them does matter. Induration, which I think daggers have, and I don't know what else, because I don't really get in melee with stabs or anything like that. But induration and reverberation make fragmentation. But yeah, if you want, you can copy this link down on like notes or something. It's just www.bg- you know, the little minus symbol, I should say, wiki, wiki.com. Nothing's capital letters until we get to categories. So it's bgwiki.com / make sure it's right, the one right next to shift, not the one below backspace. FFXI, all lowercase, /C ATEGORY, and then the symbol I forget, which is just the 2 dots, 2 positions from enter. Make sure you're holding shift, and then capital S, lowercase KILLCHAIN, and it will take you to this page. So if you ever get lost, or honestly, you could just take a screenshot of this, like just take a screenshot, edit just this part, make sure it's lined up, of course, and there you go. You don't need to visit the website if you don't want to. This website does take a lot of computer power to run, unfortunately, because of the ads, but it's not as bad as the other wiki website, which just has 30 ads playing at once. Yeah, this one's pretty tame compared to all the others. But yeah, and then there's ultimate skill chains, where you just mix light and light to make radiance if you have the Aeonic Weapons Aftermath. Here's the old chart. Basically covers every weapon skill. But you don't need to do that, because all you need to do is just check the properties. But yeah, this is what I meant when I was talking about Knights of the Rotund being insanely overpowered. You can literally just have 2 people with Knights of the Rotund. Once you get 1,000 TP, one of them throws it, waits, or the next one waits just a little bit, and then throws theirs, and you make level 4 light, which is stronger than level 1 or level 3 light. Yeah, so there's our skill chain chart if you ever need it. And how you check what it is, I guess I'll enable that in case I ever do get into a party. Okay, we'll enable that because I know that's a drop somewhere. Bro didn't even spell it right. God damn it. I'm used to it being the second one. There we go. I just told him I'm streaming a tutorial for Final Fantasy 11 at the moment. If you want to do missions, I'll gladly switch to Radish Cath after I'm finished with this first episode. But yeah. Yeah, that should be all of anniversary, and then other. You want to set vanquish multiple enemies. Mine's already set. Buff allies if you are in a party with players. This won't work with trust NPCs, unfortunately. You have like protect or something, you can cast it on them 20 times and it'll complete the objective. You can probably just do it over time anyway. Experience chains, make sure that's enabled. Wanted, don't need to worry about that. These are just the monthly ones. These are for higher level players, but if experience chains get into 5 is pretty easy. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, he wants us to go outside and beat up some dudes. Gotcha. I wish I had a better PC so these loading times would be faster. Alright, so just gonna go out here. If you already have Excalibur, you should already come with a weapon skill. Yeah, there it is. The problem is I'm pretty high level actually. For this guy anyway, he's level 1. Alright, oh yeah, and if you ever see a brown chest like this, it's called a coffer, I'm pretty sure. You attempt to unlock it, you get between 5 and 6 chances to unlock it. Each examine also takes that chance away. Second digit is even. You can hold shift to move the camera with the arrow keys, or if you're controller, you don't have to worry about that. So you got the second digit is even, combination is greater than 35 and 56. The first digit is also even, so it's 40 something. I already knew it was 40, so I'm gonna guess 46, but it's probably 44. 42, okay. Sometimes it just doesn't give you the hints you need, and that's alright. It's just... yeah, it's whether the game wants to give it to you or not, basically. Yeah, so this is where we can check. So you target your target, you press enter, you go up or down all the way to check, and enter. The walking sapling seems like easy prey and seems to have low defense. So this is something you always want to do when encountering a new enemy, or a new enemy. If it says impossible to gauge, it's probably best to avoid it for the time being, unless you know you're a lot higher level than that area entails. But yeah, that guy and I, the one person I was just talking to, we are just doing something where basically we're going through the game how it was originally intended, like, you know, without all this new stuff. Obviously, we're still gonna have the new, like, permanent things, like increase EXP. But, you know, we're not, like, trying to be purists, we're just trying to reminisce about the old days, doing it the old-fashioned way, basically. Oh yeah, that's also something I didn't explain. Alright, so I think another thing we need to look up here. Actually, hang on. Let me get a new link first. This is something I haven't memorized yet. Oh, don't freeze on me like that. There we go. Alright, so it's / party info show TP on. So the party stats, party info. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm correct. And it was show TP on. So now your TP will display down in this bottom right corner, which, you know, will hopefully be a lot better for y'all than it is for me. And then we can just go down to abilities, weapon skill, Knights of the Rotund, and just throw that out. Yeah, another thing I need to explain is you press minus to go to status, and you can go to, you can view your profile, your job levels, combat level, magic, crafting skill, etc. But what I'm here to explain is your combat skill. So this is basically going to determine your accuracy, what weapon skills you have access to. Evasion is, you know, how often you'll evade something, how often you'll block something, and then, yeah, anything offensive is going to be accuracy based, and anything defensive is going to enhance what it basically says it does. So evasion, parrying, shield. So evasion is evasion, obviously. Shield is how often you're blocked, which doesn't negate the damage, but it significantly reduces it. And then parrying, it just completely negates the attack. And then magic skill is basically the same thing. Each magic has its own class of which it's under, and each class has its own skill. So yeah, for white mage, it's divine, healing, enhancing, and enfeebling. So the only thing we have access to right now is healing, because of cure. Enfeebling is basically using a spell like Dia to target an enemy to lower their defenses. Enfeebling is literally anything under the sun that has a debuff attached to it. And then enhancing is protect, like I explained earlier. Regen, bar spells, like bar poison and whatnot. And then healing is also Poisona, Blindna, Paralyna. Basically, you know, just curing the status ailments off of people. And divine is just banish, holy, whatnot. And then you've got elemental and dark, which dark is bio, and probably the absorb spells for Dark Knight. And then elemental is just anything that does elemental damage, like arrow, choke, grasp, stone, stone, thunder, etc. I forget if ice spikes and blaze spikes and shock spikes count, or dread spikes as well, count towards elemental or enhancing. Yeah, after you're done throwing your weapon skill and getting to level 5, you can zone back into town and you will experience a cutscene introducing you to the Rhapsodies of Vanadil expansion, which you will want to watch. Also, while you're exploring Bastock, collecting crystals, you'll want to watch any cutscenes you come across then as well. Oh, that's right, it's Goldago. Sorry. I got the tutorial NPCs confused. Yeah, now he explains it to you. Whenever your tactical points reach 1,000 or more, selecting abilities and then using weapon skill from the main menu will display a list of usable weapon skills. These deadly techniques are capable of rendering massive damage on enemies. It is well worth an adventurer's time to learn and master them. By the way, were you fortunate enough to receive some items from the monsters you fought? If you were lucky enough to come across any beastman seals, make sure you hang on to them. They may pay dividends later on. It's basically, beastman seals are used for a lot of things, mainly of which is entering BC&Ms, which is Battlefield something notorious monsters. Which these things will be needed to be done with 6 players. No less. I don't think you can with any more. Because you can't use trust NPCs in them, and they're harder than hell to fight. So each one has its own strategy. Easier ones are going to be the later level ones. Yeah, believe it or not, the later level ones are going to be easier. Regardless, just hold on to your Beastman Seals, Kindred Crests, Kindred Seals, High Kindred Crests, Sacred Kindred Crests, anything like that, keep. Same with, I can't think. Yeah, I'll explain to you if I ever get anything that you need to keep. Yeah, here he's going to be talking about crafting and whatnot. Yeah, crystals are basically used for anything. They're used for crafting. You can trade. You can trade them into your Mog Gardens. I forgot if it's the Furrow or something else. You can trade it into your Mog Garden to basically grow plants. Same with your Mog House. There's like little pots you can put plants in and basically fertilize them with a crystal. Synergy. I think you can feed crystals to your synergy furnace, or you trade it to the NPC, I forget which, to basically replenish those. You've got the ephemeral moogle, I think it's. I have never pronounced that word correctly in my life, but I basically just call him the ethereal moogle because it's kind of what he is. Excuse me. I'm not sick. I need something to wash down these peanuts better because, yeah, they kind of get caught in my throat sometimes. It's just a little shard of a peanut just caught there. Regardless, crystals have even more uses than that, so hold on to them too. Yeah, synthesis. They're gonna tell you how to synthesize. And then we're gonna need to go visit the auction house as well. Oh yeah, he tells you later. Okay. So basically, you're gonna take a look at what he gave you, or they, depending on what NPC you are talking to. You're going to go to synthesis. Crystal synthesis. You're going to use the crystal it gave you, and you're going to select what they gave you. So for me, or Bastokians, it's honey and a lizard's tail. And then you're going to hit OK. You may or may not succeed at this, depending on what level the recipe is. But hopefully you should succeed at this. If not, it's still an introduction to Final Fantasy XI's crafting, which is arguably worse than Final Fantasy XIV's, but you also got to remember 14 came out roughly 11 years later. Yeah, I failed, which I lost the fire crystal, but I didn't lose anything else. But regardless, And for your copper vouchers, you just want, if you get any copper vouchers, trade them to this guy here. So he will hold on to them. I'm pretty sure that's all they're used for as well. Alright, oh yeah, the auction house. So I'm just gonna walk over there so none of you get confused on where to go. Oh yeah, and you will have to explore Bastock a little bit if you didn't spawn in markets or port Bastock. This guy starts your Puppet Master quest. Problem is, you need to be level 30 to accept it, so just keep that in mind. And you also need the Treasures of Ergon DLC, which hopefully, you know, if you got the Steam version of this game, it should come with it. So that's the crystal that has the auction house. It will be labeled as A. But I do like the design of the Bastock's, or of Bastock's auction houses the most. So you basically list stuff up to sell or bid on something. A lot of stuff is gonna be overpriced, is inevitable. But yeah, all you need to do is talk, or you know, interact with the auction house. You don't need to do anything with it. Yeah, if you find something that you think, oh, this could sell for a lot. Alright, I might as well get into detail. I'm not gonna be this tutorial and just ignore it. What the hell was that? Why did that open up? Regardless. So if you go to sell something on the auction house, say this honey, for instance, as you can see, the price range is anywhere from 1,000 to 100, but reasonably is 100. So you'd put it up for 100. Let's probably choose something a little less all over the place. Say lizard tails 1,000. So you just press enter, and when you do, you hit sell. And it's like you have to pay a fee transaction of X amount of gil, depending on how much you're putting it up for. And then you just select yes. Place the lizard tail up for auction for 1,000 gil. Yes. So now it's up there. But, it gives you a little message every time you put something up there. I wish it did actually tell you how many Earth days that was, but whatever. Sales status is where you can check on it. And you can look at the price history here, whatnot. And this is also where you can go to stop the sale. So you just stop the sale, remove the merchandise, yes. And then to bid, you just go anywhere in one of these categories. And then you, it'll be sort of randomly default for some reason. It's probably item, whatchamacallit, but we're just gonna sort by level, which you need to press X to look at. Yeah, a lot of these higher level ones are gonna be super expensive. But how do I get to the bottom? Hang on. Yeah, 50 million for that. Oh, yeah, you can press the minus button or square to look at any additional stats. That one's only 100k? For cure potency plus 24% and refresh 1? Are you... and 25 mind. That's 100k, but this one with cure potency 2 plus 10%. Although, okay, yeah, no, never mind. That one's a lot better. But that should not be 10 million people. 50 million. Shouldn't be 50 million. This is 100k. This is 100k. This should either be... okay, well, how much is the normal? 2 million. This should be 1 million. This should be 500k. But... I'm sorry. Regardless. You don't really need to buy anything from the auction house. Unless it's like a quest or something. Get out of my face. I hate that your ads on your computer. I can't believe it. Yeah, current region, Bass stock markets, E, or home point number 1, exit, is what the E stands for. M stands for Mog House, and then A stands for Auction House. I just want to make sure that we do have confirmed. Okay, good. We do have confirmed video. I should have checked a lot earlier than that, but it's fine. I keep going to the wrong people. Oh wait, no, that is something I should explain first, though. Hang on. So you can actually spend your conquest points you collect from just going outside and slaying some monsters. You can go, I want to spend my conquest points. Now this is important because if you don't get this item, you are going to be in a lot of pain later when you're doing quests. So go to common items, all ranks. You want to go all the way down to next page. And you want to purchase that warp ring once you do get 5,000 conquest points. I forget if you can trade crystals right now, but later on you should be able to trade crystals to the quest giver NPC, I think. Or maybe not, maybe you just trade it to these guys. But you can trade these guys crystals and get more conquest points. I think when you hit rank 2. When you get to rank 2, then they'll let you trade crystals for conquest points. But there's a limit, unfortunately. But fret not, because you can always just go out there and slay a few beasts. Or whatnot. But yeah, we're gonna come over to Goldago. Yeah, I thought I said Dolgago for a second. There are several items in existence which serve to enhance the number of experience points you receive for defeating enemies. For example, there are Chariot Bands, Empress Bands, Emperor Bands, Echad Rings, and there's another ring. It's not a Facility Ring. Caliber Ring, that's what it is. Just to name a few. It's also the Koopa Fried Ring. There's so many rings! But Echad is the permanent one. These are a bit unique in that you must wait a certain amount of time after equipping them before you may use them. There is also a predetermined amount of time, usually quite long, that must pass before these items can be used again. The total number of times you may use any single time is also limited, so be mindful of that as well. Many of these items may be obtained from the same guards that provide you with Signet. You need only exchange conquest points in order to acquire them. As a matter of fact, for finishing that last assignment, I'm going to give you this Conquest Promotion Voucher. With this, you'll be able to obtain a Chariot Band without having to use any of your Conquest points. And that brings us to your next assignment. Head over to any guard and have a go at exchanging them for something. After that, see if you can't make it all the way up to level 4. I'll be right here waiting for you when you get back. With an experience bonus in place, it should take you practically no time at all. Good luck, and be careful. It can be quite hairy out there. So he gives you the Conquest Promotion Voucher. Now, back in the day, getting to level 4 took maybe an hour or 2 hours. Sorry. Or 2 hours. I hate little fragments of things. It's annoying. Alright. But regardless, get out of there, will ya? I might need to go grab a water here. Are we done? Okay. I'm gonna assume I'm done until it happens again. But yeah, he gave us a Conquest Promotion Voucher. So, where was I going? I'm so sorry. I love my gag reflex just being like, yes. It's the tiniest little scrap of a peanut. And it's like, I'm dying! Regardless. Back in the day, getting to level 4 took about an hour or two based on how big your party size was. I don't remember if there was a penalty or a bonus to being in a bigger party. But if you were in a bigger party, it basically told you go after the stronger monsters or else. But nowadays we get like maybe 200 EXP per monster. Yeah, 275 EXP with a slight EXP bonus. But the problem is, back in the day, it was a tenth of that. That's why it was so hard to get to level 4, and that's why he's like all the way up to level 4, not just, you know, level 4, but here. But yeah, we're just gonna spend conquest points, all ranks. Unfortunately, the only things that are free are these 3. Which, we're just gonna grab the Emperor Band. Okay, we already got it. So, you can put this in your Mog Wardrobe 2 if you don't have all the Mog Wardrobes, or if you have all the Mog Wardrobes, I recommend putting it in Mog Wardrobe 8. Oops. So I just press... I don't know where my thing was. Okay, so plus auto, there we go. If you're stuck in a menu, just press escape enough times and it'll get you out. So I've got my Achad ring here and my Bastokian ring. So the Achad ring works exactly like the Emperor Band. The only problem is the Emperor Band only has 3 uses. And you might be like, well, the Achad ring has 1 use, so the Emperor Band must be better because this recast time is only 15 minutes. Well, the Achad ring only having 1 is a little bit of a fib. It has infinite, which why they don't just put... Well, I mean, there is no infinity symbol, but they could put... Yeah, I guess 1 out of 1 works. They could make an 8. Just to simplify that it's infinite, I guess. But then there's also the ones that are 8s. So again, like, anything that says it's 1 use is either 1 use or infinite. Not sure what the difference is, but you just do exactly what you did with the meat and just use the item. And voila! EXP bonus. I probably shouldn't have done that yet, considering I already had an EXP bonus active, but yeah. What else did the guy talk about? Okay, I think that was it. Starting from level 31. Okay, not 30, 31. Anytime you are knocked unconscious, your experience points will suffer a deduction, aka you will lose some EXP. As a general rule, the amount penalized will be about 10% of the total amount required to reach the next level, not 10% of what you have. You will have to be more careful than ever from there on out. However, there are ways to minimize the loss of experience points. Like this, for example. Go on, take it. Your reward for reaching level 4. It's called a raising earring. Using this will grant you a status known as re-raise. Whenever you are rendered unconscious, while this effect is in place, you will have the option to revive yourself. It might take a little bit to show up, but it is there. Choosing to do so will cause you to be resuscitated. Okay, I wanted to make sure that wasn't like resituated your experience points or whatever, but no. Cause you to be resurrected at the very spot you have, or resuscitated in the very spot where you have fallen. In addition, as I stated previously, the amount of experience points you lose will be somewhat lessened. Raising earrings and similar items that give re-raise tier 1 in the same manner as the chariot bands and the other experience point bonus items I mentioned earlier. That is, once equipped, you must wait a certain period of time before they can be used, both cooldown timers and limited charges as well. Yes, you already explained that, sir. All these items as a whole are collectively referred to as enchanted items. There's a vast array of other enchanted items with myriad of other effects that will prove useful on your adventures. It may be worth the time and effort to better acquaint yourself with them at some point. And that brings us to your next assignment. Seems you're starting to get the hang of things. Next, I'd like you to go and fight some enemies in Kronstadt Highlands. The Kronstadt Highlands is located beyond the northern regions of North Gustaberg. You're sure to encounter some new monsters there that you won't find prowling around the outskirts of the city. It might be a bit daunting, so I'll only require that you slay just one beast and then head back. Just keep in mind, the farther you stray from the city, the more ferocious the monsters tend to be. Don't say I didn't warn you. Be sure to use the check command to determine the strength of your enemy. If you find that you are surrounded by enemies too difficult for you, try heading back to a previous area closer to the city and leveling up a bit more first. Alright, so we have our next assignment. As you can tell, the frame rate is dropping. Yeah, I put basically all my accessories in Wardrobe 8. I probably should split it between, like... I should probably put, like, rings and gloves together, I guess, but it'll be fine. So here's a quick way to just... There are multiple ways to select your Mog Wardrobe from your inventory, so you can just press Enter on the item that corresponds with that Mog Wardrobe and press Escape, then press the plus sign, go down. For a controller, I think it's, obviously it will escape circle, and then, it's either square or triangle. I think it's triangle to switch to this menu. Then you can select the raising earring and equip it from there. Another way you can do it is just pressing the plus sign, pressing X on or Enter on storage options, and selecting the Mog Wardrobe you want to look at. You can do that to, flip through any gear you may have unlocked. Say if you buy gear in advance. The reason I walked all the way over here was for the magic shop. Also because I was just rambling and my fingers were like, I want to go somewhere, and it was just like, oh hey, I'm at the magic shop. Yeah, these two NPCs sell you some stuff. It'll be good to get these 2 spells if you're a white mage. Anything yellow you can use now. Anything white you can use later, and anything green you already know. And by later, I mean if you unlock that job or get to that level. As you can tell, there is a bit of a delay you have to wait in between using them. But you can go to your magic section, select whatever school of magic you want. That's all the magic. You press plus, auto, just like your inventory. Alright, it seems I haven't done the Trust NPC quest lines, though. It's less of a quest line and more just of a quest. Yeah, there's the spell you need to get the Buff Allies quest out of the way for the Records of Eminence dailies. I don't know if Protectra works better than Protect, because Protectra is just the AoE version of Protect. So yeah, I'm gonna make my way over to Clarion Star. They're gonna be found at the exit crystal in Port Bastock. I almost said Bastock Mines like an idiot. I'm gonna walk there. You guys can teleport there if you want, if you already have it. I don't think I have the crystal. I might though. I think I do. Yeah, this coat is pretty busted on Water's Day. Haste plus 25% is absurdly good for level 1. I mean, it's gotta be on Water's Day, but still. And then all ailment resistance is plus 20. And then occasionally ignores damage taken is kind of funny. I forget if it's this character or this character here. Yeah, guys, this guy. So here you can purchase a Gold World Pass for you and your friends to share. Now make sure you buy this before they create their character, because then you will both benefit from this effects while you're in a party and you come talk to this guy in Bastock. In Winders, there is a Taro next to Kupipi in Heaven's Tower, which borders Winders walls. And in Sandoria, I have no idea. I know it's my home nation on Theatrix, but I've been in Winders more times than Sandoria. I just haven't explored Sandoria's Gold World Pass area, but I'm guessing it's somebody in Chata de Orabel, or the Gil, something like that. I don't know for sure. Why Bastock's is in Port Bastock, I'll never know. But, yeah, not in the Metalworks, I mean. But here we are. Yeah, here's where you can buy a Gold World Pass for your friends. And you can read the benefits and whatnot. But, yeah, if you're on with a friend and they haven't made a character yet, tell them to put in the code that that guy gives you. So you want to copy that code down on like a piece of paper, or like, you know, just type it out somewhere, then copy paste it to your friend and say, whenever you see Gold World Pass options in your character select screen, you want to type in that code before pressing enter, otherwise it'll skip it. That way you both can get benefits while you're in the same party. Just make sure to go talk to that guy once both characters are in the world together. Make sure you're in the same server and you're in the same nation. Same nation just makes it easier. You don't actually need to be in the same nation, but if you guys are playing the game together, you basically want to be in the same nation. Yeah, once you hit level 5, you can come talk to this guy. The reason I'm skipping all this is because I have already heard it. Also, you can pause to read if you need to. Alright, so now, I've done this in Sandoria and Winders plenty of times. So for Sandoria, you're just gonna go talk to Escalame next to the Northern Sandoria exit. He should be down the stairs and to the left at the end of the garden. And for Winders, you're gonna want to travel all the way to Winders Walls, head towards the Heavens Tower, enter it, and then walk across the little square there where the fountain is, enter through the double doors on the other side, and talk to Kupipi. And for Bastok, you're gonna walk all the way to the Metalworks and find Naji standing on the stairs in front of the mayor's building. Which, thankfully, Bastok Markets is connected to the Metalworks. I'm pretty sure the closest one is the home point. Okay, I didn't already have this crystal. So we got Bastok Markets, Mog House. Also, I'm saving Timpan and Tothmar for... Or not Tothmar. Tothimar, sorry. I think Rakaznar is the last character in Sandoria that I own. Or that I've created, I mean. Yeah, go to the Mog House, go up the stairs, and then to the right immediately. You know, to the Metalworks, which is actually a lot far less of an arduous journey than the Winders Waters to Heaven's Tower. However, your journey has just begun, because now you need to walk this way and wait for this whole pulley system here. And this pulley system kind of pisses me off. So it doesn't quite give you enough time to get to it if it's like already been down. You basically just have to go to the one that's on its way down. Why they didn't just make a staircase, I'll never know. Because it certainly doesn't look like something cargo is used for, because there's no ramps anywhere. Not to mention airships carry this stuff in anyway. Alright, you're gonna want to come talk to Naji, who's right there. The fact that this works is plot armor. You haven't done any quests together yet. Alright. Now you've learned how to summon him. You can just grab the crystal out right here. And we're just gonna go to Bastock Market's exit. And we just walk outside and summon the trust NPC. But first, before we summon them, you want to open the quest menu, tutorial, basics, call forth an alter ego. Make sure that's green. Alright, so he's gonna be like your tank character, kinda. He just kind of provokes the enemy into attacking him, more so than being a tank. You don't actually need to fight anything. Kupipi's gonna be your white mage, so if you ever need a healer, there you go. And then, actually, Naji's kind of useless under level 20, or whenever you get provoked by 15 or something. I don't play much low-level stuff anymore. So now, you just go back to Metalworks, number 1. Yeah, he'll be right here. Alright, now we can go to quests, objective list, tutorial, quest number 1. Obtain an alter ego, Bastock. And then we can head over to Port Bastock exit and trade any new trust ciphers we have obtained to Clarion Star, and he won't instantly help us learn it, but we'll have to go through this arduous paragraph before he'll give it to us. But you want to set your next tutorial objective as alter ego of Valanrol. He's going to be your actual paladin. So you don't want to talk to him, but you want to open the menu and trade the cipher to him. Now I've got 5 different ciphers on me, so I'm going to just do them all right now. I actually like this NPC the most, because he's not talking shit. Sorry, I swore. I was trying to go this whole video without swearing. Cursed tired brain. Yeah, there's a lot to do at the start, but once I tell you how to undertake a Grounds of Valor training regime, I might end it here for part 1. Mainly because I also want to get you into doing the quests as well, and missions, I should say. Because there are quests and missions in this. Hello. NPCs I'm getting here are top of the notch, best of the best. I mean, Sakura is arguably not good, but he can't be targeted and doesn't take damage and is constant regen. It gives you increased combat skill gain. But the Moogle is definitely better for that refresh if you're a mage. Yeah. Shantoto's second alter ego is just the best black mage in the game. Cooper Fried gives you more EXP while he's out. Notori is one of the best NPC samurais in the game because she can just self-skill chain off herself for days. And then Valinor is one of the best tanks in the game besides Archangel Elvin, so yeah. And then let me just magic, trust, auto. There we go. And they give you a Matsui P during events, basically for free. Oh, he also has a giant AoE that just deletes enemies, so there's that. I have a like-dislike relationship with Bastok. I think most of the likes come from the Galka. Alright, so here is a white book, which makes sure you've undertaken the FFXI training regime in the quests, like I did. Individual training, page 1. Nah, that's actually terrible. Page 2. Bring it on. You don't need to set it to repeat, and boom, you're done. And then to get another quest out of the way, just summon Valinor. Or Valinor. And you get the next quest, tutorial, basics, alter ego, Emilia, Aliapo. And I think I'll leave it there, because I'm sure you can figure out what to do for now. And in the part 2, I will get into missions and going cross-country, basically, to Kronstadt Highlands. And you'll also notice that this game is actually a lot bigger than Elden Ring, in a lot of different ways. And the reason I say that is because travel time takes so much longer, even if you have a mount, but also the areas are more complex. I mean, the DLC in Elden Ring is complex, but it lacks size. Like, it's such a small area. It's almost like it's trying to represent what the Hunter's Nightmare was. Then we go outside and summon her. And then it'll give us our next person, which is either Tenzin or Adelheid. Or Adelheid, whatever. And then the last trust NPC on this list is Hakim, or Joachim. Or Joachim. Basically, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I just use Hakim or Joachim. It's probably Hakim. Yeah, Tenzin's next, then it's Adelheid, and then Hakim, I think. Yeah, you basically just get this done, and then I'm gonna stop it here, so... So yeah, at the beginning of this tutorial, you didn't necessarily have to be in the Mog House to listen to the settings and whatnot. I was just there because that's where I log out. Not to mention, it's very hard to predict where exactly the game's gonna plant you. Like, it could be mines, markets, or port. Like, it was literally random. So just, you know, explore your way around until you find markets and port Bastog. Okay, I'm still on Tenzin. Tenzin's another decent samurai, although he's mainly for tier 1 and tier 2 skill chains. Whereas Notori is for tier 2 and tier 3 skill chains. That doesn't mean she can't do tier 1 skill chains, that just means she prefers to do tier 2 and tier 3. Yes, Adelheid. I don't even know if I went through before I went forward. I thought I had a little bit more walk time. Yeah, do beware of monsters higher level than you. There are some that aggro by sound and sight. Oh yeah, once you complete 10 Records of Eminence quests, which this Trust quest will help. Okay, I did accept it. You'll get All for One, which I guess I can introduce you to do. Oh right, I forgot. I just need to trade it. Yeah, they have different phrases based on whether it's not one of the 5 races, or somebody from the past, or something like that. I forget if there's a third one. As you can tell, I'm getting pretty tired. Don't want to work myself to death. I'm not going to, but still. If you made it this far in the video, be sure to like the video. And subscribe to stay in touch in case I upload another tutorial. Or if, you know, you're actually interested in my other content. But this is like my first professional content. Unfortunate bit is I, you know, swore. But it's a lot less than my normal streams, so just keep that in mind. Usually when I'm tired, a lot more of it slips out than when I'm not tired. And thank goodness, we're almost done here. Also, I don't count God as a swear word, because how dare you use his name in vain, but it's just like, it's a figure of speech. But also, like, it's meh. I don't see God as a swear word, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I started off Christian, and I listened to all their rules only for them to backstab me, so that's why I'm no longer a Christian. They also backstab their own morals, so if you can't even uphold your own morals, why should I follow you? And of course the tiredness is setting in, and I already forgot what I said. And what I mean by that is how I said it. Alright, oh yeah, we're gonna go over to this crystal here first. We're gonna do all for one, and then I'm gonna call it. Be sure to accept that up here. I've done this at least 10 times, so that's why I'm able to make a tutorial of it. Yeah, markets, exit. Yeah, there's no fee for teleporting to the same region. The only thing that has a fee is teleporting through the Black Book or to a different region through the crystals. Okay, yeah. So the NPC is gonna be this guy right here, Igsley. Locked and loaded. Wow, this is the only one where you actually sign it. Alright, so I usually go for either Aparuru or Sylvie. Which I feel like Aparuru is your best choice, besides maybe Yoran Oran. I would also go for Ayame, because she does wait for you to throw your weapon skill first before she throws a compatible weapon skill. The only problem is, she's not a healer. And the best healer in the game is Aparuru by far. I forget what Yoran Oran brings to the table to compete, but he's basically the same. Now, you won't get them immediately as a trust NPC, but you will, you will get them after doing some of the objectives that unlock after this quest. Alright, so now we go to quests, objective list, and we can go down to content. Actually, no, never mind. Unity, there we go. Shared E, so you communicate, you just slash U, and you just put anything in, so just hi, just like that. And then home point comrade, form a party with somebody, the same unity, and examine a home point. Vanquish multiple enemies, just set that. Vanquish plantoids, arcana with physical damage, undead with magic. Vanquish enemies with the unity leader. So basically the trust NPC. Plantoids is actually doable in all of the areas besides Ron Fair. But once you get to Lothane Plateau in Sandoria's area, you'll be able to actually fight some saplings. But in Windurst, Cerudibruta, there are Mandragoras about, and then in Bastock's Gustaberg, you'll have saplings everywhere. And then Arcana with physical damage, that's stuff like ghosts and bombs. You won't really encounter them a whole lot in these earlier areas, but you will encounter them a lot on the beaches of Barumuru Peninsula and the Volcrum Dunes. So if you ever get into those areas, you want to accept Vanquish Arcana with physical damage. These do change, so they're not always going to be this, so keep that in mind. And then Undead with Magic, obviously you're going to need like a Black Mage or an Elemental Weapon skill to complete that one. But Undead can be found in Ron Fair, Surda Bruta, and maybe Gustaberg, I forget. But guaranteed to be found in the Eldimne Necropolis. Obviously, it's a necropolis. And then Guzgan Mines for Bastok. And then I forget if there's any guaranteed undead areas near Windhurst. But I usually just head over to Batalia Downs through Jugner Forest and Lithane Plateau. Or in Windhurst's case, you have to go through Taragni Canyon after going through Surda Bruta. After you get through Taragni Canyon, you gotta go through Marathon Mountains, and then you gotta go through Shamrock Campaign, make it into Juneau, and then go to Upper Juneau, go to the exit, and Batalia Downs is right there. And you find the isolated mound past the spine, and then that's where you'll find the entrance to Batalia, or to Eldimne Necropolis' grinding area. They are level 40, so keep that in mind. So Ron Fair at night is probably the easiest place to go for that one. And then Conflict Bermuda Peninsula, Vanquish Crawlers, Cure Status Ailments, Silk Thread, all these are doable. If you ever run into this boss, you might be able to defeat him. Just keep in mind that bosses are extremely stronger than basically anything else. I'm just taking those off just because you need to free some space. Take that one off too. I didn't summon Hakim yet. Okay, I can do that real quick. A good place you can find crawlers, this is also be level 40, is, well, I guess you can just go to Surda Bruta, but something a little closer for Pastok and Sandoria will be Rollenberry Fields. And they may not be abundant in Rollenberry Fields, but they're in the south corner of the map. Not quite all the way south, because that leads to Konstadt Highlands, or Pashal Marshlands, sorry. But, it's like southwest-ish. If you're coming up through Pashal Marshlands, it'll be like north and a little ways, and then like immediately left up like the first mound. So I'm just gonna summon Hakim, give my outro, and then I will see you in part 2 or some other content of mine. Might be Ambuscade, might be Delve, might be God knows what. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, I appreciate it, and I hope a lot of the information I've given you is helpful. And if you are sweating about the level 40 areas, don't bother, because I will have a full journey to there in one of my tutorial episodes. So just wait for that episode to release if you're, like, you know, I wouldn't want to say scared to explore, but if you're, like, struggling to find it, yeah, I think that's a better analogy. Or not analogy, but a better explanation. Struggling to find it. If you're struggling to find it, I'll help in one of these tutorials. But for now, I'm going to leave it there, and I will see you around next time. I'm just going to walk into the Mog House and log out. Which, the reason I haven't ended it right now is because I'm probably just going to show you how to log out. Yeah, logging out takes you to the character select screen. Shutting it down is what takes you to your... Well, it just shuts the entire thing down, including play online. Oh, also, another neat feature about this game is there is an auto run feature. You just press R while you're moving, and your character will just move in that direction, and you can still steer with left and right. But yeah, thanks and goodbye. Be sure to like and subscribe for more.